Oh, all right. Today is February 17th, 2022. Today is the 40th anniversary of when my mom died. My mom was murdered on February 16th, late in the evening, and my brother and I found her on the morning of February 17th. The purpose of this video is, for about 15 years I wrote a piece every year for domestic violence awareness, and put it on Facebook, right? And each year there was a specific theme, with a call to action, and just, using my mom's story, my story, my brother's story, to raise awareness. And I would always tell a different part of my mom's story each year and just share it to the world, and there'd be a call to action. And this year, I got rid of Facebook within the last year. And because of that, obviously I can't post this on Facebook. So the idea is to put this on the Adversity and Success channel. And I didn't write a script, I didn't put together an outline, I didn't do anything. I'm just going to speak from the heart and inject my mom's name out into the world 40 years after she died, and hopefully at least one person who watches this video, the message is imprinted on their heart, and it has a positive impact on someone's life. My mom, her name was Bonnie Mae Austin, and she was a phenomenal mother. The 7 years I had her were 7 very formidable years in my life. She had a very lasting impact on on me, and had a huge influence on what I would ultimately become. And I've told this story to my kids, but I don't think I've ever told this story to anyone other than family members. But when I was 5 or 6 years old, it's probably the year before my mom died. In the evenings, my mom, my brother, and I used to sit in the living room on the floor, Indian style, to say our evening prayers. My mom taught us how to say our prayers at night, and each night we would sit Indian style on the living room floor to say our prayers. But my brother was sick one night, and so he wasn't with us in the living room saying prayers. And my mom, after we said our evening prayers, my mom said to me, Walker, there's something I want to tell you. And she said, you are special. There's something about you that is special. You are special. And you can make a difference in the world. She literally put her hands around my face, looked me straight in the eye, and told me that there was something about me that was different. And whether that was just a mother doing what a mother does, to every child, or whether she saw something that may or may not, that may be there, the impact was the same. She didn't know she was going to be murdered in a year. She had no idea that on the evening of February 16th, she was going to lay down on the couch in the living room after a fight with her husband, and he was going to go grab a pistol, come out, sit down on the couch across from her and shoot her in the head twice while she was sleeping. She had no idea that was gonna happen. She was just being a mother in that moment. And what she told me had a huge impact on my life. An absolutely huge impact on my life. So many times over and over again throughout my life where people told me I was wrong, my approach was wrong, or this idea I had was never going to work, or I'm not sophisticated enough, or I don't have the right pedigree, or every time someone doubted me. And believe me, when you are trying to have a positive impact on the world and leave your mark, and you have to jump up a few rungs on the socioeconomic ladder to do it, you are going to be confronted by lots of people who are going to try and keep you from achieving those goals, jumping them on the rung. And they're going to try lots of different techniques. They may not even know they're doing it. But they're the naysayers. They're the ones who are going to tell you you can't get it done. In all those moments, I can remember just consciously going back to what my mom said to me. Like the look on her face, the smell of her perfume, the smell of the Winston cigarettes that she used to smoke. Like I go to that moment over and over and over again. And if my mom had been given an opportunity, she would have had a much larger impact on the world. But that opportunity was taken from her. Why? Because she married a guy, my stepdad, who was immature, who was jealous, who had uncontrollable rage, and he himself needed help to overcome that. And which brings me to the point of this message, the point of this video. For those of you who are still watching, kudos to you. There were a lot of people who knew that my mom was in a violent relationship. When I say violent, I don't mean emotionally abusive, or I don't mean yelling and screaming. I'm talking physical violence, getting beat up. In this day and age, the word abuse is thrown around very loosely. So let's establish what the definition of abuse is. My mother was in an abusive relationship, a physically abusive relationship. I don't know if it was emotionally abusive. And the reason I know it was physically abusive is because abuse is when you intend to hurt someone. Like, your goal is to hurt someone, and there's no greater purpose. Like, if I'm a drill sergeant and I'm a drill sergeant in basic training, and I'm calling you names, or I kick you in the back and shove you down to do your push-ups as part of the emotional teardown, so that I can build you back up into a stronger, better human being and soldier, that's not abuse. Because the point of that pain is to help you grow, right? Abuse is when the point of the pain is to hurt someone. And my mom clearly was in an abusive relationship. My stepdad beat her, right? And people knew it. I didn't know it. I never saw it. I had no idea. We were always at a babysitter when it happened. But people knew, and they didn't say anything. And one of the things that I learned, I feel bad for the people who knew and they didn't say anything or intervene, is because when I was in college and I was researching all the details of my mom's death, I had a chance to read the statements that everyone made to the police. I think there were like maybe 16 statements I read. And to a person, every person said the same thing. They should have done something. They should have said something. And some of those people I had an opportunity to talk to when I was an adult. 15, 20 years after my mom died. And again, to a person, they carried with them the fact that they didn't intervene. And so the message today, the whole purpose, the reason I do this every year on the anniversary of my mom's death, and I normally do this on February 16th, which is the day that she died. But yesterday was an especially hard day for me. I traveled up here to upstate New York from Dallas. This is where my mom died. She's buried just about 10 miles from here. I'm going to go visit her. My whole point was to be here so that I could go visit her and talk to her about the Bonnie Mae Austin Foundation and how we're making a difference in her name. Yesterday was a really hard day for me because it was the 40th anniversary, and it just, I don't know, somehow it resonated differently. And I tried to shoot this video, and I had to stop halfway through because I was just too overwhelmed with emotion. And I'd prefer not to cry on camera, I'm okay with being vulnerable, but I prefer not to cry. Not sure how that's helpful. So I'm shooting this video today, which is the 40th anniversary of when my brother and I found her. And the message is this, and I want to tie it into something I saw yesterday. Brian Shaw, who is the world's four-time world's strongest man, has a very popular YouTube channel in strength training. I have a big announcement coming related to Brian Shaw and the Shaw Classic, but Brian Shaw has got a popular YouTube channel and a new podcast, and the subject of the subject that he talks about all the time is overcoming adversity. He does talk about that quite a bit. And, the guy's just an amazing role model, and he really ties his sports success to much larger messages to people, right? And yesterday he posted on Instagram a story about last week he and his wife, Carrie, were getting ready to go out of town for a weekend together, for Valentine's Day, obviously, and they both really, really needed this time away. They both work really hard. Brian's got lots of businesses he runs and everything. And shortly after they were on the road, they came across a head-on collision on the highway. They were like the third car to come up to this head-on collision. And somebody came, a passerby came and told them, it was really bad head-on collision, and told him what was going on. And Brian, instantly jumped out of his car to help and to see if he could help any of the people being hurt. At the same time, there were people who just kept going about their way, right? And Brian posted on Instagram, his whole message was the importance of intervening, the importance of setting aside, what we want to do or what we've got lined up in order to help those in need. And that's the message of this. This is the message of my post every year for 15 years, and it's the purpose of this video today. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It isn't something that is to be kept between the parties who are directly affected. Domestic violence is everyone's business. Everyone has a moral obligation to get involved. To if you see something, say something, right? And here's why. Perpetrators of domestic violence need help. That is, those who are committing the acts of violence, they need help. And the victims of domestic violence, they need help too. And nearly in 99.59% of the time, neither person is equipped to help themselves. So, 40 years ago today, the most amazing woman I've ever known in my entire life, and the one who had the greatest impact on my life, was taken away from me when I was just 7 years old in a senseless act of domestic violence. Absolutely senseless. And I don't want her death to be in vain. So remember to look out for the signs of abuse. If you know someone who is being abused, you need to intervene. You need to get involved. There are many hotlines available for the victims of domestic violence. And if you know someone who is being victimized, you need to look up one of those numbers. You need to send me a direct message. You need to call the police. And you need to get the victim and the perpetrator the help they need. Okay? All right. Sorry for the long-winded message. I appreciate all those who stuck it out to the end. Bonnie Bay Austin. She played a huge role in who I am today. And any positive impact I have on the world is a direct result of her efforts. And she was cheated. And I hope that this community helps me build her legacy and ensure that her death wasn't in vain. All right, thanks.